Jammers, if you don't know, we got here the one and only Shane Whitlow from Love
What's
After
up,
Lockup.
baby? In the house. What's up?
What's
Yo,
up?
man, one of my favorite shows for me and my wife to sit down and watch, and we're really into it. First and foremost, thank you, Shane, for being a part of this. This, you guys, is an exclusive. Shane doesn't talk to nobody, so we were able to build a relationship with him, and we felt as though a lot of things that he was saying is something that you guys would love. Okay, so baby, you want to tell us a little bit about the Love and Lockup and how you came to, like, go.
So, Jammers, in case you guys didn't know, my father just got locked up during this time, and this show, Love After Lockup, came on WeTV. And I said, babe, we should watch it. And as soon as we watched it, we just automatically said, Shane is one of our favorites, and we had to get him on the Jam TV show because he has so much to tell, so much going on, and we're so happy to have him here. So here is Shane.
Here is Shane, and I'm gonna just be honest with you. When I first seen it, I was like, he a good dude.
Yes.
That's the first thing that I said. I said, you know what? He a good dude.
It is an honor to come on y'all's podcast. And man, it makes me really excited that y'all are fans of the show. And honestly, I'm fans of y'all as well. And, it's been a tough couple of seasons. But, hey, I came out the other side stronger than ever. And I'm looking forward to doing another season of Life After Lockup. And man, let me tell you, it's going to be a real treat. It's going to be a real treat.
Okay, but, there's more to you than meets the eye, Shane. And we really, really want you to give the Jammers a brief synopsis of who you are, where you're from, some of your life story, and what led you to getting yourself in trouble and getting locked up. And of course, we got to get the redemption and how good you're doing now. But could you give us a brief, a brief synopsis of who you are, where you're from, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes, of course. Well, I was born in Florida, My mother and father weren't exactly very good people. My daddy, he was a gangbanger and
a bad situation. So basically what you're saying is you grew up in Florida, you went through some stuff in your childhood, of course, and people can read between those lines.
Growing up, it's the same old cliche story. Growing up, daddy was a gangbanger. He used to beat my mom a lot. Long story short, my mom and dad broke it off. My mom was from Virginia and my dad was from Florida. So when my mom broke it off with my dad, she decided to come back to Virginia. My dad ended up going to prison. And so my mom came back to Virginia. Her heart was broke real bad. It was a very toxic relationship. So what had happened was my mom, she got on drugs real bad, was a real bad alcoholic. So she wasn't a good mom. And so she gave me to her mom, which is my grandma, and she was taking care of me. And I got to the age of 2 years old. My dad got out of prison. He went to prison for beating my mom or whatever. He was a gang member, not a good guy. He got out of prison and ended up getting killed. So, long story short, as I got older, I was passed around a lot as a kid, So my grandma couldn't take care of me. And she gave me to my mom's best friend, which her name was Michelle. And she raised me up, as her son. And she passed away of cancer when I was 8 years old. Sad to say. She was really the only mom figure I had in my life that actually really cared about me. And she died when I was 8. And my mom, she visited me briefly, up to the age of 5 years old. The visits got shorter and shorter. And eventually she just stopped coming to see me altogether. She basically just gave up on me. I have 5 biological brothers. I have 1 sister. I don't know any of them. Don't know none of them. They're lost in the world, man. I'm really hoping to find them. And they've been passed around through foster family to foster family, and I look to get reunited with them. And hopefully one day that'll happen. So my journey is going to continue to progress. So as I got older, man, I've been through a lot of traumatic experiences. And it led up to the point to where, man, I was basically, nobody gave a fuck about me. I was on my own. I dealt with a lot of trauma. I cry. People tell me, what are you crying for? Wipe that ugly look off your face. Ugh, man, that's ugly. Why are you crying for, man? And I get punched in the fucking face, or I get beat, or I get my head slammed into the wall. Literally. Dealt with a lot of trauma. So as I got older, I got to the age where I was 15, 16 years old. And I was like, you know what? It's time to start fighting back. I'm a man now. I'm not going to take this shit no more. So, I used to get into a lot of fights. I went to school. I got escorted home 1 year, 6 times by a cop. I was a knucklehead, great student, I had great grades. Believe it or not, I was really smart. But then I got kicked out of school and ended up going to alternative school, yada, yada, yada. And then I dealt with some dilemma through there. I went to a school so rough, man, that, when you go into school, you got to walk through a metal detector. And you had kids toting guns in the school, man. You're toting fucking guns on them. And it had shootouts in the parking lot. 16, 17-year-old kids. I grew up in a predominantly black area. It was really rough, especially being white. And then I went through situations where this man who was actually my elementary school bus driver, he used to get me drunk all the time, and then he would give me, all kinds of pills, sleeping pills, and I got molested. And, I just got to the point where, man, I'm just not going to take this shit no more, so I took matters in my own hands, and I got my revenge, and I beat the hell out of him. I couldn't take it no more. I was a kid. He was older. So I beat him so fucking bad, man. He almost died. He lost an eye, broke his face pretty bad. Actually, when I knocked him out, really, and then I picked him up off the ground. And I put him in the car, and I told him, he didn't even know what happened. It happened so quick. I said, man, look, man, everything is going to be all right. He had a gash on both sides of his face. There was blood everywhere. It looked like a murder scene. I beat that man so bad for what he did to me. And they hauled him off in the ambulance. He almost died. Thank God he did. And then I got locked up. Nobody was there for me. Nobody gave a fuck. I got locked up. I was literally maybe half a mile away from my foster dad's house. The only person that really, I can't say he really cared about me, but he was the only father figure I had. I ain't never seen him shed a tear in my life. I was taught, you get raised up, you walk it the fuck off. You rub some dirt on it. What are you crying for? You're fucking soft. You know what I mean? So I grew up like that. I grew up rough. And my family was country, and I grew up around predominantly black people, so I had that swagger with me. That's what really got me into music. You know what I mean? I just didn't know how to get my feelings out. I had so much aggression. So what I started doing music. I started doing hip hop. And then my dad, him being country, he listened to country music. He couldn't relate to the stuff that I was doing. He didn't care about it. So I just kept writing my music. I worked on it. And I got to the point to where I didn't even write anymore. I just freestyled. I said, yo, play an instrumental. And I'm about to spit that shit. You hit the record button. And then I got good. Man. I love music. That's how I express myself. And then when I got locked up and I went to prison, I got done wrong. I went to prison. I met motherfuckers so bad, man, in prison. I had to fight. I actually went to a place in Virginia called Gladiator School. That was a prison that I went to.
That's the same thing that my nephew went through.
When I was at the jail, 14 months I was at the jail. My father did not come see me not one time. I used to go out there on the yard and play basketball at the jail. And I'd see him drive by, going to work while I'm out there in the cage playing basketball. It lit a lot of fire inside me. I'm in that jail cell, man. And it was so inhumane that it literally reached the temperature of 130 degrees inside that cell. I used to do 2,000 to 5,000 push-ups every other day in my fucking boxers. And I didn't know I was facing 20 to life. I thought my life was over with. I had to sit in there for a year. Won't no motherfucker there for me. Won't nobody there for me. Why are you crying now? That's what I got told. You cry, you get punched in the fucking face. You can't show no weakness. So I dealt with that and I didn't know what was going to happen. So I pled guilty, man. I did it, obviously. So they gave me, I was facing 20 and under. I got 15 years. They suspended 11, had to pull 4 years, and now I have 11 years over my head. So I went through prison. I went through jail. I went to prison. When I went to prison, that's where shit got real. When I went to prison. Ain't no crying now. You a man, you come on that yard, you a man. You in there with the killers, you in there with the rapists, you in there the worst of the worst, the gang members, everybody's in there. So you know what? I had to fight. I had to push weights. I had to lift weights. I had to get big. I had to get big for size to defend myself against these motherfuckers. All the gangs try to recruit me, man. But you know what? You know what? I told them no. No, I do me. And I had so many people, so many gangs try to offer me stuff. I'm like, no, I got me. Don't worry about it. So I did me. And then I lifted weights and I got big and I got a little size on me. And then when I was at the jail, man, I was like, I heard about this gladiator school, man. And there's like 20-something prisons in Virginia. And I was like, damn, I kept hearing about gladiator school in Chesapeake, Virginia. I said, man, St. Brian, I said, I hope I don't fucking go there. So I went to receiving. When I went, you gotta go to receiving before you go to, go to prison. So I went to receiving, that's where they classify you at. So I got classified. You got 3 choices, 3 different prisons you can go to. And guess where the fuck they sent me at? They sent me to gladiator school, the worst prison to go to as a young man. It's like 90% gang members in there. So, you know what I did was save me? I lifted weights. I stayed focused. I went to school. I kept myself occupied. And I stayed out on the yard. I pushed weights. And I got big to where I could fight back. I've seen so many things happen in prison. So many people, fucking dead bodies and people getting stabbed up. You go to the chow hall, you step over a dead body. Somebody gets stabbed up, keep it fucking moving. Or you're next. Don't say nothing. That's how it was in there. And then you know what? And then later on after that, I went through my time. I went through 5 different prisons. Actually, as an inmate, I went to what they call a work camp. So I worked my level down from the highest, higher prisons or whatever. When I worked my level down, I went to a place called Red Onion as an inmate, and Red Onion was the #1 maximum security prison in Virginia. And I went to Wallens Ridge too as an inmate, as an inmate at a lower level facility called a work camp. We got on a bus and we went over there, and where I worked at, I worked in the kitchen and staff dining. And then, we would work, 8 hours, and then they load us all back up on the bus. And then we go back to the work camp. So I've seen fucking dead bodies get rolled out with fucking blood all over the sheet and stuff like that. I've seen some really hardcore people, man, from all over the United States, everywhere. But I kept my composure. I held it down. And, and then later on as time progressed, a buddy of mine, how I started this, I felt kind of lonely, man. I haven't talked to a female and stuff like that. And my buddy was like, hey, man, why don't you start up this website called Meet an Inmate? And I was like, nah, man, I don't need to do that. I stick to me. I do me. He's like, go ahead, try it. I was like, all right, I'll try it out, see how I like it, Kind of felt like I was lonely in there, man. Everybody either wants to take advantage of you or, so I just wanted somebody to talk to. So later on, as time progressed, this is how I got into the show. My last couple of months of my 4-year sentence, a girl named Lacey reached out to me, asked me if I wanted to do the show with her. I said, yeah, sure, why not? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So getting out of prison, getting on film, getting locked up and going through all the fucking traumatic experiences in my life that I had to go through, and getting out, going in, basically, I went into prison as a nobody and came out famous. The cameras are rolling. I walked out of prison, man. I was an inmate for 4 years. Walking out, going out in society, going out in public, being talked to like a normal person wasn't normal to me. I'm gonna talk to like a dog and I had to fight people off of me, and it was horrible. And then getting out, being able to go to the store and somebody talk to you like a normal human being. And then on top of that, being in front of a camera, that was life-changing for me. I had to get used to that. It was very life-changing for me. The first morning I got out, I went and had breakfast with Lacey. I went and had breakfast in a restaurant or whatever. And to sit down and eat a normal meal while cameras was on me, God, man, I was a nervous wreck. Anyway, long story short, I felt like I was ambushed. I felt like I didn't know what I was getting myself into. You know, I thought this girl, I didn't know nothing about relationships. I didn't even know what the word toxic meant till she came and got me. It was just another obstacle I had to overcome.
Okay. Definitely, baby. I know you wanted to talk. So from what I take it, after Love After Lockup and after, the very first meeting, we all have seen the episodes, and those who haven't, make sure you check out the second season.
I think he's on the second. You're on the second and third, correct, Shane?
Second and third season?
Yeah, second and third season, correct.
Okay. So I want you guys to check it out so you guys can see what we're speaking about. So, baby, you had a couple of
Yes. Shane, first of all of this it's a lot. And honestly, I really feel like a book. Like I can see you writing a book. I can see you just creating this masterpiece in this book because it will help so many people. Like your trauma, your childhood, you going to jail, prison as a kid and coming out and not really knowing what the world's about, and then automatically starting on reality TV. I could just see a whole bunch of anxiety and all kinds of things. I really think a book will be amazing for you because you definitely have a story to tell.
Let me tell you, him doing that and his music is how it seems like he expresses himself. But definitely, I believe either through his music or through writing, he could definitely help a lot of people so they could see where when someone comes from a bad situation, makes it through that bad situation, then what this is called strength. This is called that story. This is that Muhammad Ali story of tragedy to triumph and going through a trial and tribulation, still being, the greatest that ever did it. So I want to fast forward. a little bit with you and kind of see where you are now. What's Shane's love life look like now?
Oh man, Bizzy, let me tell you, man. To be honest, I'm probably more happier now than I've ever been in my entire life. I got to talking to this girl named Steph Costes, and let me tell you, she is a breath of fresh air. I mean, I've never in my life had the privilege to know a woman as special as she is. And I feel like she's the one for me. I feel like definitely, I can definitely see a future with her.
Okay, so peep this out. Now you know her.
Yes, I actually talked to her before we did this interview, and Shane, I must say, she really has a heart of gold. She's super sweet and cares about you. And I can appreciate that.
Not to cut you off, but I'm gonna let you finish. But she has your best interest at heart. She wanted to make sure you were able to talk, that you were able to tell your story, and that things stayed right.
She definitely cares about you and wants to make sure that everything is right. And that is something, that is hard to find now in these days. And she really, really cares about you, Shane. So I give a thumbs up on that one.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. I've been through a lot of tough times in my lifetime. And you know what? When I just felt like I wanted to give up and I was at the bottom of the barrel, I just feel like, you know what? There's no reason for me to move on with life. It just felt like I had no point no more. And she gave me purpose in life, her and my daughter. Because I felt like, man, through my tough situation that I went through, I felt like something was taken from me. And she saved my life. She saved my life. She really did. She was the only one that was there for me. And we'll get more into that on the next podcast that we do. Yeah. We'll save some of that.
Shane, I have a question. I want to backtrack a little bit before I go into my next question. But I heard you mention that your dad would pass by the jail and wouldn't come visit you. What about your mom? Like a little more detail about your mom. Where was your mom during this time? What happened?
So my mom, what had happened there was that my biological mother passed away. Actually, I had gotten out of juvie. You know, my birthday is August 6th. Okay, so I had gotten out of juvie August 5th, the day before I turned 18. And so I got out of juvie, I turned 18, and then 3 days after I turned 18, you know, I was in my sister's bedroom. I was playing the video game or whatever, you know, minding my own business. And I call him my foster dad, my father figure, whatever. I don't even really know what to call him. He came back there and opened the door, and he was laughing. He said, "You ain't gonna believe this," because I was just having the worst luck ever. You know what I mean? And I said, "What's going on?" He handed me the phone, and my sister Karen, that I grew up with, she said, "Hey, honey, I have some bad news for you." I said, "What?" "Your mother killed herself." And you know what? I looked at my dad, you know what I mean? I didn't know how to react. You know, he laughed and handed the phone, laughed in my face and handed me the phone. I didn't know whether to cry, I just didn't know what to do. It's like almost as if like I felt nothing.
Mm.
Mm.
And then I handed him the phone. And I was like, nothing. You know what I mean? And then I went back to my video game and didn't know how to react. I didn't even cry. A lot of bipolar depression runs in my family, man. And I'm not gonna let that hold me down or hold me back.
No. Well, Shane, I got a question. You ready? I got this question that I definitely wanna know. What insights do you have about yourself after watching the show? Like, did you watch yourself? Did you see what happened on the show? Or
I mean, honestly, you know, I would do the show, and I just felt like I was put in some tough situations. And honestly, I don't really watch the show. You know, I really don't, because it's a little hard to watch. And I would get all these message requests on Instagram, and I would check them out. And people would tell me, "Oh my God, Shane, oh my God, you didn't see what just happened, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, what? And then I would have to look up the episode on my phone through the web to see what I had missed. And I witnessed my wife cheating on me behind my back. There was stuff that was going on that was being filmed that I had no idea about. And when I had to watch these things, she would lie to me and tell me, you know, I was forced to do it, basically. Or, you know, she's a very conniving, pathological, compulsive liar. And man, I just cried, man. You know, I was upset, but I'm not going to get too much into that. But yeah, the main thing is I didn't really watch the show a whole lot, man. But you know, I have my reasons.
so, Shane, are you saying? I want to.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Shane, are you saying that, like, pretty much I guess it wasn't scripted, so you didn't even know what was really happening? Like, it was
I didn't know what was taking place. I had no idea that I was getting cheated on by my wife constantly, repetitively. I was getting cheated on by my wife.
Wow.
Behind my back. And I loved my wife. I was there for her. I broke my back for her. She wasn't the person for me. It just wasn't meant to be. We didn't work out. Me and my wife at the time, it wasn't meant to be. So throughout my time of filming the show and witnessing everything that I had to witness that was going on behind my back with my wife at the time, I had to take 2 fucking lie detector tests to prove to her that I never cheated on her. And I fucking passed both of them. And she fucking convinced me to push me into stuff, into situations to do OnlyFans and do all these things to make money. That wasn't me. That wasn't how I wanted to live my life. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to educate myself. I wanted to do positive things. And what she did, man, it was like almost as if she didn't want me to be better than her. She was jealous. And, you know, it is what it is, you know, but main thing is that I took two lie detector tests and I passed them. It was just toxic.
Oh, we seen it. No, bro. So, you know, We seen it. So I'm not even gonna say anything, but we seen
I
it.
was
Go ahead.
blind. The whole world seen it. I was blind. The
Exactly.
whole world seen it.
See,
And
that's
you know,
what
I didn't see it.
that's what
I
I'm
didn't see
saying
it.
to what I'm saying to you is everything that you're saying right now, the whole world is thinking it that has been able to see it. They're all like, that was kind of messed up because this whole time they're watching. I'm not going to go any further. We understand. Trust that. Go ahead, baby.
Yes, we
I
totally
was, all right,
understand.
yeah.
Trust. We get it.
Okay, so the next question, what has been your biggest obstacles and how do you overcome them?
My biggest obstacles and how I overcome them, man. You know what? I love it when my back's up against the wall because there's no other way to operate but moving forward. So I operate very good under pressure because I wouldn't have it any other way. I've been through a lot in my lifetime and I feel like enough is enough. And I don't care what other people think about me anymore, man, because I do me and I know who I am. And that's a grown ass man and I know what I want out of life.
That's good, Shane. You got to shake them haters and them trolls off.
Now, do you still, because I'm heavy, well, not heavy, but I like to work out, man. I like to get up, do my cardio, pump a little bit of iron and things of that nature. And I found, me personally, this is about you, but I found out that like a lot of my stress is conquered and defeated by working out. Do you still use that at all as a
Oh, yes,
vice?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I tell you what, one of the things that have helped me throughout my lifetime is the gym. The gym has always been there for me. It's always welcomed me. The gym has never told me no. So, you know, throughout my time of incarceration and throughout my time that I've been released, the gym has always welcomed me, man. That's really one of my main passions is the gym. And so what I would do to relieve my stress or relieve my anger or whatever I felt like I was going through, I would go to the gym and I would lift weights and I would feel much better. I would walk out with my head held high and I feel like I accomplished something.
Definitely,
I really
definitely.
felt like I felt like I accomplished something by going there and doing something positive for myself.
Same here, man. I was so messed up when this pandemic thing happened and then they shut the gyms down. And then it was just like, man, I don't know how sanitary it's going to be in there. So I started getting my own gym equipment just so I could keep up. Because ain't no telling if they're gonna shut it back down. And anyone that goes to the gym, you guys, y'all know, if they shut the gym down for 2 months and you've been in there, it's like the end of the world. It's like the end of the world because you can't get back in. And I got a great
doubt, man. No
Oh my
doubt, man. When
God.
they started closing the gyms down and the coronavirus thing was going on, you know, you had people going in the gym and, you know, you get your workout on and they're breathing heavily. And you don't know if they've been exposed to the coronavirus or whatever. You know, it's airborne. So, you know, at the time, man, it was rough on me as well, Bizzy. It was rough on me. But I tell you what, I did the same thing. I went and got me some gym equipment and I put it in my garage. And I tell you what, man, I really focused on myself. And I tell you what, I actually got more results in my garage at home than I did going to the gym, man, because I just stayed so focused, man. I kept my
That's what
eyes
it's
on the
about.
prize and I stayed focused.
You eat real good as well. What's your diet like? What is your diet?
Typically what I do, man, I stick to a very high protein diet, high carb, you know, whatever works for me, you know. So what worked for me and what my goal was, I wanted to gain size. So what I did was I ate breakfast. I would eat breakfast, and every 2 or 3 hours I would regulate. I would eat breakfast. I would do a protein shake. I would eat lunch, do a protein shake. Then I would eat dinner, and then right before I went to bed, I would eat a protein bar. And I was on creatine at the time. So what I did was I doubled my water intake. So when I doubled my water intake, I drank anywhere from 128 ounces of water to 150 ounces of water a day daily. And my ex would get jealous. My ex would get very jealous. You know, the longest I ever stayed in the gym consecutively, you know, doing my supplements, my creatine and eating properly and having the proper nutrition. You know, after 4 months, I would gain results and she would get jealous. And that's just another dilemma I went through. And then she would, you know, why are you at the gym so long? Or why are you doing this? Or why are you doing that? And I was like, I'm at the gym trying to better myself and work on my body for you, thinking you would appreciate it, and trying to become a better person. Anyway,
so all of this was happening while the camera was rolling, or when?
it was it just, man, like, I can never go in the gym and be consecutive. I can never be consecutive with anything that I did, because if I tried to better myself, she'd get jealous, you know. And to be honest, I couldn't stay in the gym for long periods of time, because every time that I started getting results, physically, mentally, and spiritually, man, I started feeling better and really feel like I'm accomplishing something. I don't know, man. It's like a control thing with her. She didn't like it.
Well, let me tell you something. And I, just to give you a brief synopsis, I know exactly what kind of a relationship that you're talking about. I've been in a few relationships that consisted of that, and it's never healthy on either part. And I do understand that it's not normal per se, but it does happen. And I'm glad I was able to bounce back. I'm glad to see that you're able to bounce back from that. But it's good to know that, man, because the people that watch, they're like, the workout routine of Bizzy, and I love speaking with people about what works for them. Because when I seen you the third season, I was like, holy shit, Shane done got to the gym on these motherfuckers. I said, Shane, look at Shane, baby. Shane, big in the motherfucker. So,
you already know.
Oh no, for sure, man. It was exciting, and we felt like we knew you before we even had the opportunity to know you. So, but you got some more stuff, baby.
Yes. I got a couple more questions, Shane. What is a misconception of you that you think people have after watching the show that you want them to know that is wrong or not true?
Is there anything that the show may have shown that you're saying, not me? That you think?
Yes, that I know. I feel like the show has tried to portray me to be a worthless father, and trying to have me look a certain way that I didn't. And it really hurt my feelings. It did. Because one thing about it, I always promised myself, one thing I will never fail at is being a good father.
Right.
I would never fail on being a good father, and I will always be there for my daughter. You know what? I know what it feels like to not have a father, to not have a mother. My daughter would never feel that way. I will never walk out on my daughter. I don't give a damn who says what. And you know what? I would get into heated arguments with the show and with the producers and stuff like that. I just felt like, I hate to talk about it, but anyway, I just felt like I was portrayed as something I wasn't. And it offended me.
Well, let me tell you, just from what we've seen, besides what was being said about you, all of your actions showed good father, good man. Because what we've seen, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, we've seen Shane being the father to about 5 to 7 children.
Right.
It wasn't just your child. We watched you be a good father, a good man, and a good husband when you were already brought into a situation where you were already a daddy before you had an opportunity. And that takes courage, and it takes heart, and it takes a lot of patience, because I have been in those situations before to where I was by myself taking care of 5 children just by myself. And I know how difficult that it is to adjust to that. So just know the perception that we received, and we're pretty smart people, is no, that's a good man right there. That's a good father. And he's a good father, not just to his, but he's a good father to all of them. So just know that's what we've seen. I know you got another one, right?
Yes, no, definitely. I definitely do have another question, but I want to go to what my husband just said. Very true. Like I saw this, I even told my husband, I was like, this young guy, like your age, you were like what, 20, 23 at the time?
I was 21 when I got out of
21,
prison.
right. Okay, even younger. And I'm like,
21,
you
21.
were, the kids loved you, they love you, they hugged you, and you were doing all these responsibilities, yard work, taking care of things in the house, doing different things. And I'm just like, this guy's very, very, very mature for 21 years old, especially coming after jail. And I mean, to me, the show portrayed you as a hard-working man and a hard-working father. That's what made us love you. It's like it was like you could see it.
I would have multiple jobs, man, where I had to bust my ass. And my wife would tell me, I would have a great job. I had a bunch of great jobs, actually, that the show did not even portray on the TV, like I didn't work or something. Well, long story short, every time I would get a job and I'd work my ass off and I'd be gone for 2 or 3 months, Lacey would tell me, I want you to quit the job. I want you to come home. I want you to be home with me. So I would quit. And then she'd get tired of me being around her, and then she'd tell me to go back to work. And then I had to find a whole other job. So, I mean, I busted my ass when my wife was pregnant. Let me tell you, I've had some rough jobs working in 110-degree weather, running a fucking blowtorch, running a forklift. I've had jobs where I had to run jackhammers. I had to work with tools, impact wrenches, and some very, very heavy weather conditions that was hard to work in the rain, in the cold, freezing my ass off, and it wasn't appreciated. And when I did that, I had to go home and take care of 3 kids, before we had the baby. And then I had to deal with her fucking crazy ass.
For lack of a better word.
God, I laugh at it now, but
yeah,
man, it's just, she didn't realize, man, she was educating me the whole entire time. And so I worked all these jobs. I had to drive box trucks, ran forklifts, all worked with tools and very messed up weather conditions. And I learned how to do all these different things. And then during the pandemic with the coronavirus pandemic, when my producers and everybody, the camera people and all of them, the film crew, they couldn't travel. So I learned how to film. I learned how to work sound equipment. I learned how to cross shoot. I learned how to basically, man, like I got educated pretty well because I had to do everything for everybody else. I had to be a good father. I had to be, a good husband. I had to be I had to show some really strong work ethics. And I did. And I didn't give up.
And a good reality star as well. It sounds like that you had a lot of different jobs and a lot of different hats. Baby, go ahead.
So Shane, what are your future plans?
What are my future plans? Well, to be honest, I would like to get into music. I'm very passionate about the music I write. And, I'm very passionate about my weightlifting, about the gym, about fitness. So I'm very passionate about my music, and I'm very passionate about fitness. And those are my 2 main goals in life that I would really love to accomplish and really follow my dreams and follow my journey.
And where are you currently residing at? Are you still in Florida? What state you living in?
Currently right now I'm in Virginia.
Back home. Back home. That's a beautiful.
I grew up in Virginia, very, very peaceful area. So I grew up in the country, actually. I guess you can call it the country ghetto.
That's
what I mean? So I grew up in a county called Sussex, right outside of Petersburg, Virginia. Yeah. And so I experienced the sides of both worlds. I experienced the side of growing up rough and growing up humble as a country boy.
Nice. Wow.
And a rocker as well. So I'm a rocker, a country boy, and hip hop. So I like the 3 main musics I like is rock, country, and hip hop. But I tell you what, hip hop's my number 1, man. Hey, look, I love hip hop, man. I'm really good at it. I've been doing it ever since I was a teenager, and I love it.
Let me tell you, my wife is the same. So I go into her father's house, right? And I walk in, and there is an entire room dedicated to rock albums, Elvis. It's the biggest record collection I have ever seen before. So this young lady grew up. They still go to rock concerts, and R&B is her thing, and hip hop is my thing, and we both mesh within that. So you are talking to people of your own kind when you're saying that, and all of the people that are watching this now, all that they love as well, rock, rap, all of that. So that's really, really good.
I
And
feel
Shane,
truly blessed, man. I really do. I
and
feel really
Shane,
blessed.
you know what I see? I could see, I don't know if you checked this out before, but now they got these country rappers where it's like the voice, they sing it in a country tone, but it's like a hip hop sound. I could see you doing that. That's
Oh,
like
really?
She always trying to be, no, but yeah, that definitely, hey.
No, honestly, that's really a good idea. I've never actually thought about that, because I am pretty country. I have a strong accent, and
country hip hop. It's a new thing
country
right
hip hop, and I love hip hop.
I'm gonna send you some stuff. I'm gonna send you some stuff.
That was a good one, baby. That was
Send me
good.
some
That was
stuff.
good.
And now y'all speaking my language. I'm
Yes,
doing
yes,
some
definitely.
overseas right here.
So look, we have had such a great time with you. We do not want to keep you any longer. We definitely need to know your social media handles so people can get in contact with you. Before we do that, let me pay a couple of bills. Okay, Jammers, if you like this episode, please make sure you press the thumbs up, like boom. And if you haven't subscribed already, make sure that you subscribe to our channel because we will have things like this and more videos and great things coming up soon. Okay, Shane, Mr. Whitlow, we need your Instagram handle. We just, because Instagram, I think, is how he moves. So could you give us your handle?
Absolutely. If everybody's interested in watching my journey unfold on Life After Lockup, check out my Instagram page at Shane_Love After Lockup. And stay tuned in.
Yes, and Jammers, I'm gonna put his Instagram in the description below, so you'll be able to click on it, add him as a friend. He's amazing. We love him, and I know y'all are gonna love him too.
Definitely, I'm really happy with this, and on behalf of now Shane and I, we've done some talking beforehand, and just to get to know each other, and I plan on continuing that relationship with Shane. So a big shout out to Bone Thugs and Harmony, because Shane wanted me to tell the rest of my fellas that he loves what we've done in the music industry. So I want to send a big shout out to Lazy, to Crazy, to Wish, to Flesh, to Easy. Without him, we couldn't be here. And on behalf of Jam TV, I think it's a wrap.
Yes, thank you, Shane.
Thank you, Shane.
We love you. Take care. All righty. Bye-bye.